Hello. Well, in this project I've spent a long time recently chopping bits off the chassis and I'm bored of it. And I suspect everyone watching this project is bored of it too. So I'm going to take a break from the chassis and I'm going to go on to the bulkhead. The other reason I'm going to look at the bulkhead is I've been watching another YouTuber, a chap called Matt, who's been working on Project Clanger, which is also a long wheelbase Series 3 Land Rover, and he has spent a long time patching up the bulkhead. His bulkhead was in horrific condition. So partly I want to check out the one that I took off Kermit and just make sure it's not quite as bad as that. So the bulkhead was lifted off way back in episode 3, I think it was. I craned it off the truck and put it to one side, and it's been living in the brambles along with most of the other stuff ever since. This is not it. It is a Series 3, but yes, thankfully this isn't the one. This is also not Kermit's bulkhead. This is a Series 2, and it's one that I completely restored, and obviously you can see I had it hot dipped, galvanised, and it's still in really good nick, even though this has been living in the brambles for a long time, very long time. Now this is Kermit's bulkhead. I've dragged all these out to provide some context and to show you what a really terrible condition bulkhead looks like, which is this one. Also to show you what the difference is between a Series 2 and a Series 3 bulkhead. I'm not going to go through all the differences, just the main ones, because I could use that galvanised bulkhead. I could put that straight into Kermit, it would be fine, and it might even be better for what I want to do. As you might remember, one of the things I was thinking of doing was changing the dashboard. So this is the Series 3 dashboard, which has got all this padding and stuff on, all kinds of things going on. The Series 2, on the other hand, is nice and simple here on the dash. So this would be a really good basis to work from if I wanted to make my own dashboard. Yeah. You can really see here the value of galvanising, and this is what I intend to do with Kermit's bulkhead, and indeed with Kermit's chassis, and well, anything else I can stick through the galvanising. This has been outside for, I think it's at least 10 years. It's not been covered up in any of that, so it's just sat in the brambles. I've just pulled it out today, and you can see it's got no rust on it. There's plenty of discoloration, but the only traces of rust are from other things that have been on top of it rusting away. So the actual bulkhead is really nice and sound. So had I just restored it and then painted it and left it outside for 10 years, I don't think there'd be much left. The thing is, a bulkhead is it's the most complicated shape on the Land Rover, in a sense. It's made of loads of bits that are pressed together and spot welded together. It's a moisture trap, is what I'm trying to say, and I think the only way to deal with it really is to get it dipped. That's the only way you're going to make it last. So if you're looking at a bulkhead and are sort of assessing it for the feasibility of repair, these are the bits that would really put me off. So all along here you can see where the water's come in and it's rotted out these bits. I'd open them up, but I don't think they're going to work. The rot is inside here, so it's all the, like I say, all those folds, all the pressings, all the complicated stuff. It's anything's fixable, but that's a lot of work. In contrast, over here on Kermit's bulkhead, there's none of that. It looks, these curved bits, all the pressed sections look really nice. I mean, I'm going to find plenty of rot, no doubt of it, but it's localized rather than endemic. Easy peasy. In order for it to be hot dip galvanised, it has to be completely stripped down. So that's what I'm going to do now, is pull it completely apart. It's a very sensible idea to label everything that comes off so you know where to put it again. Personally, I never do that. But at least I'm keeping the bits in one place. Right there. This and all this is just, it's all in the way. I really don't like it either. I much prefer the Series 2 interior, really. It's just so much more simple. In fact, I was sat in the Zill the other day and I was thinking, what's so nice about this interior? And it eventually dawned on me that there's no plastic in it. There's no plastic in the Russian truck. Got a mouse left. There are some screws here, but yes, that will touch me. What I'm going to do here is exactly what I did with the last Land Rover. Let's just get rid of all the old wiring and start from scratch. I can only assume that there were some massive speakers to go with the stereo. Yeah, I've never bothered putting a stereo in a Land Rover. State of that. I hope you can appreciate my disdain for plastic and vinyl and foam and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it's ugly when it's fitted, first fitted, and it's completely knackered now. And it's not repairable. It's just rubbish. But all the metal parts I can rebuild. Yes, we're nearly at the steering gear. I'm going to take the clutch box out first and then the steering box. First I'm going to tidy up. Too much crap lying around. So I've had a tidy up, had a cup of tea, clutch box next. Good. Cool. Lighter now. They're in good condition. And the keep pile. That's going to have to be a grinder job. That's the first thing I'm going to have to deploy the grinder for. Not much further to go down with the strip down. It's a case of just getting rid of all the fiddly little fixings now. Like these rivets that were here holding on the door seal. We've got the rivets here I've got to get rid of. So I've been pondering my next move. The plan, my rough plan was to shot blast all this and then do the repairs, but it's in better condition than I thought, which is that's a very rare thing to be able to say about an old Land Rover. Because it's going to be some months yet before I can galvanise this, what I might as well do is do the obvious repairs, and later on when I get closer towards galvanising time, then I'll blast it all, and if I see any more work that needs doing, I'll do that then. I've been having a bit of a think about the dashboard. So these are the bits of the old dashboard that came out. Obviously this is way beyond fixing this one. And this I was going to chuck out because it's mostly this vinyl part, but then I thought actually there's a load of metal structure in there. I wondered what it would look like if I just stitched the vinyl bit and then put the metal bit back on. I wonder if I could get away with that and then put the, I don't know, the original clock's just a bit plastic it off on it. Anyway, don't know. It's a bit uninspiring, isn't it? Anyway, I won't bin this just yet. I'll put it to one side and have a think on it. The actual legs of the bulkhead are in surprisingly good nick. I'll have to do a little bit of repair work, but it's pretty much all there, which is great. So here's my replacement footwells, one of them. This is obviously the driver's side, that's where the pedal boxes bolt to. I got these months ago, if not a year or so ago. There's a chap called Les that makes these. As far as I can tell, this is all he makes. and sells them on eBay. So it comes with the actual footwell itself, and they've got the, what's nice about these ones, they've had the ribs pressed into them, so that's a stiffening. You'll notice that on the Land Rover, the driver's side is much bigger footwell than for the poor passenger. And then these bits are for here. Now the original footwells are just spot welded in place. So removing them, they are a separate part to the bulkhead, but yeah, spot welded in. So I'm going to have to chase down all the spot welds and get rid of those. To maintain the shape of the bulkhead, I'm just going to do one side at a time. Something slightly worthy of mention. This is where the top hinge sat, and these captive nuts look like they're actually going to come out. They're on these little clips, and that's great because it means I can take it out and then after galvanising I just put it back in again. This one here, this hinge, this is where the screws are just spinning around without doing anything useful. So yeah, the captive nuts inside here and here have come adrift, I'm guessing, and they're just, so they'll have to be sliced off and the bits retrieved. Got the old rivets here, it should come out. I'm going to cut them off with a wood chisel. This is going to horrify some people, but this is a really crap wood chisel. This is Stanley brand, and this is the first Stanley product I bought when they ceased to be a company and they just became a brand. And some of my Stanley stuff since then is fine. Some, like this chisel set, absolute rubbish. So a decent chisel should cope with aluminium. The damage that's sustained. Oh, it's just a mess. That's cutting through aluminium. That's hardened steel cutting through aluminium. Funnily enough, this is also Stanley brand, which I bought at the same time. These set of chisels and punches are lovely. Like I say, it's just a brand now. All the products are made in China like everything else. Wildly variable quality. And I'll take that hinge off first. Cool. This seam here should be able to open up. And then the remainder I can just whip through now with this. What I was trying to achieve there was to get rid of the main bulk of the footwell, and now I can clean up all the seams where those spot welds are. Was it more efficient than drilling out every spot weld? No, probably not. It certainly made plenty of mess, but it was fun. Next on the menu is a bit of panel beating. Got some panel beating hammers there. I think. Yes, here. I have a superior one. Chance then to use Grandad's old panel beating hammer, which is nice. So the concept here is that I back the piece of metal with the dolly. So it's like a tiny anvil in effect. And then that gives us something to test fit. Let's see what we got. There we are. So yes, very nice fit. They do seem very well made actually, I must say. No affiliation. All bought with my own money. I'm thinking now, rather than set up the big diesel blasting stuff just to do all this, because there's a relatively small amount of work needs doing, I'm going to use the little tiny blaster and just clean up this as I go. Then I'll blast it all when it's a bit closer to galvanising time. And if I need to do any more repairs then I will, but I think that way, yeah, that's just going to be a bit easier I think. Unless the little shot blaster is completely rubbish, which it might well be. I've only actually used it once and it was, it was fairly mediocre. There it is, the wee beastie. Same setup basically as the blasting cabinet. It's a siphon feed, just like a spray gun. Air through here, induces a slight vacuum in here, which sucks up grit. Now last time I used it with this black stuff, which is the copper slag. This time round I'm going to try something a bit different. This stuff is made from recycled bottles. It looks a lot like brown sugar in its texture. Right. Then I get some overalls on and a bit of a respirator. I'm not going to wear the whole spacesuit. Back in the workshop then, you'll notice I'm wearing different overalls. Those red ones don't seem to fit anymore. Either they've shrunk or I've got taller. Probably the former. Anyway, before I fit the footwell, I'm going to do a bit of tidying up to what's here. This bit here, which see the crease, that's got to end up down there a bit. So I'm not going to hammer the crease out, but I'm just going to panel beat all this flat and then cut out the rotten bits. It's quite localised, the rot, mostly around here where the heater matrix bolted onto the other side of the bulkhead. I'm going to cut out around here, that. I've hammered it just enough I can make out what's going on now, so I need to choose some metal for repair. Funny thing is, I've got loads of steel in this in this building, but very little sheet material, and the sheet material I did buy is for the chassis. It's a bit thick for the bulkhead, but I've got the bits that I already chopped off of here. Quite nice using bits of the bulkhead to fix the bulkhead. This wants to go across there, that way, that way. This will come down there, and there. And come down 40. So that's left me with 4 patches there, except they're not really going to be patches because I'm not going to patch over anything. I'm going to cut out the old metal and let the new metal in. Replacements, I guess. Replacement sections. I'm going to go off and clean these up now in the blasting cabinet. There they are then. There's nothing quite like blasting for cleaning things up, and that is a particularly civilised way of doing it, I must say. So this is one of those tools that's almost never useful, but when it is useful, it's very useful, if that makes sense. This is a joddler and punch. So it's set up for punching at the moment. So you see there, that's the punch goes through and the die is on the top there. It's just like a hole punch for cardboard. So it only makes holes. You can only go a certain distance in from the edge, and obviously only a certain size hole. But what it does rather well. This drilling sheet metal is never fun. There they go. I don't have to worry about measuring them out because you won't see them when it's all done. So they'll now go like that. I can plug weld it from this side, dress it off, and that's that. That's it after sanding at 80 grit. You can see there's still some seams visible there and there. Up here is better, but again there's a bit of a trough there I need to fill in, and there's a couple of bits here and here and here I want to fill in with a welder and then flatten off properly. So that's sanded back nicely. That's the seam weld there, and then the plug welds. They're fine, I just knocked the tops off those, but that's fine, that bit. And then this here, that's will come together completely fine as well. 2 of the 4 repairs that I've done, I'm happy with as the final result. This bit though, I will carry on working on. Put the footwell in, and that'll brace all this up. So you might be wondering if I need to sand off this galvanised finish before welding, and the answer is no, I don't, because it's not hot dip galvanised, this is Zintek, and it's just metal steel sheet with a very thin electroplate zinc layer on it, almost like, well, not even like paint, really thin, just enough to stop it rusting before it's used. And that'll just burn off immediately as you start welding, so there's no need to sand it back. I mean, it's, yeah, proper galvanising you'd have to sand off the zinc, but not this. I will though make sure there's plenty of ventilation going on when I weld it. But, well, that's just the same for normal welding. Start welding this strip in now. I can plug weld all the holes that I've just made in there. Then I'll move on to the other side of the same piece. And then I'll start moving over to the actual main. Looking at the inside of the footwell then, you can see these are the ones I did from the other side, and you can see by that discoloration of the metal that the penetration's been just right, so I haven't burnt through this panel, but I've welded right into it, which is exactly what I'm after with the plug welds. I can't clamp exactly where I need to weld, so what I've done is just put a tack in and then hammered it flat. And then carry on. Axle stand. I push down on that, push down the rest of the bulkhead, that gap closes up. Feels like proper progress. Next up, I'm going to cut out this footwell. So I'll do just what I did there, cut out everything up to those seams, and then I'll get in there with a hammer and chisel and knock out all the spot welds. For this session of blasting, it's almost the same setup, but I'm now going to use the big air receiver as part of the system. So I've got both of the compressors going, powered by the diesel generator, you can probably hear in the background. I'm just waiting for the air to come up now. It's been trundling away for ages, and it's about 70 psi at the moment. I want it up to 100 before I start. This blast is only really effective between 100 and 80, something like that. So yeah, I'll just be doing a few seconds and then waiting and a few seconds waiting. Any more blasting, I'm definitely going to have to deploy the diesel compressor. I'll drop in a picture of its current state to show you why that's not a trivial matter. Of course, the other massive advantage of using the diesel compressor will be there's so much air supply then that I can run some of it through a filtration system and into the air-fed mask, that big spacesuit thing that I should be wearing, and then it'll stop the grit going down the back of the neck. So I had hoped to just be able to drop in the new footwells, but even though this edge is much better on this side, this bit here is loads worse. Well, it was actually fine on that side, wasn't it? So yeah, you can see there's more holes than there should be. I'm not actually going to rectify these bits now. What I'm going to do is cut them out, then put the new repair sections in and spot weld the new ones into what's left of this bit, and then when I make up new bits and put them in, I'll have something to weld them to. done. Well, I think that looks a lot better. There's still a fair bit to do on the bulkhead, but well, it's on the other hand, it's just minor stuff. So I've got to replace those two sections there that I just cut out. There's a few bits. There's some corrosion there. There's some corrosion there, and some there. And then this area where I did the repairs, I got to tidy up. So that's most of the work done. I think that'll do us for this episode. I haven't finished the bulkhead, but I've given myself a huge head start on doing the work on it, so I'm pleased with that. And like I said before, if you want to see an epic struggle, someone's heroic efforts to restore a much nastier bulkhead than this one, check out Project Clanger. Do a YouTube search for Project Clanger. Have a look at that. Yes, and you'll see what Matt had to go through there. You'll see that I've actually got off very lightly. Anyway, that'll do for now. See you next time. Cheers.